Well, let's move on to our questions. All right, I'm gonna go and look up our questions here. They're in a different spot. Okay, here's a good one. Let's see. Jenny Spalding is asking, well, first she says, "You are amazing." And then she says, "What are your absolute must-have tools?"
Okay, so I do have a few of these. My favorite tool is my quilter's ruler. It's kind of random. I should show it to you. Hold on, it's right over here. Just because some people aren't familiar with quilting rulers, but it's this guy. It's this long, clear ruler, and it's 2 feet long and it's 6 inches wide or tall. And I literally use it for everything because when you're making your cuts, instead of using a normal ruler, you can see through it. So any kind of horizontal cuts or any type of, whenever you want to cut a ribbon or fondant band, you can keep everything really lined up and keep everything totally straight because you can see exactly through the ruler where you're lined up.
Mm-hmm.
I love this thing. In fact, I have two of them because my son decided to use one as like a racetrack for his cars.
Oh no.
Broke in half.
Oops.
Now I have a small one and a big one.
Good. Don't you
So,
love it when kids do stuff like that? You just,
yeah,
ah.
we have lots of those around here. And then my other one is so I have two more. So my next one is my single edge blade razors, and I use these in the show or the class all the time too. Um, they're just small handheld razor blades that I use for everything. They're super, super thin. You can get them underneath your cakes to cut the bottom edges of your fondant off, and they're so inexpensive to buy, and you can throw them away and get a new one and keep everything super sharp and not worry about spending tons of money on it. I think you can buy 100 of them for like $7. So those are great. And then,
Okay.
okay,
Oh, just that's really
yeah,
smart.
yeah. And then the other thing that I have absolutely loved is my little acetate sheets, which I use when I am smoothing my fondant and getting those sharp corners. They're these little clear plexiglass sheets. Mine's actually like a polyester acrylic, and it's kind of like a really hard notebook divider, but it's plastic. I can't describe. It's uh, like a cutting mat kind of material. The little flexible
Hmm.
cutting mats. It's kind of like that, but it's just straight. And I use it to get my fondant top edges really nice and sharp when I'm doing my cakes. So those are my three
Cool.
must-haves, I guess, for me that I love.
That's perfect. I think that's good information. And that's not something that every decorator has in their
No.
in their lineup. So that's really
Yeah.
good ideas for people.
And the quilting ruler you can buy at Michael's or Joann's for like with the 50% off coupons. So
Hmm.
everything's really inexpensive,
Good. That's
especially
perfect.
for me.
That's the way we like it.
Mama
Uh,
too.
okay, so here's someone that I guess they're not very familiar with the craftsy classes.
Mhm.
So maybe you can explain this a little bit. They said for your craftsy class, what do we need to get before enrolling?
Nothing. You can watch the class without having anything, just as if you're sitting and watching me demonstrate at a cake show or something. So you would just you create a username and account, and there's a whole bunch of different classes on there. There's some amazing classes by these brilliant cake decorators. And you put whatever classes you want in your cart, just like you're buying a movie or a video. And then you can sit and watch them 100 times if you want to. You own them for life. They stay in your cart. You can skip around. You can fast forward, rewind. You can go to different lessons. I actually create 4 different cakes during this class, and they're also different. And so if you, let's say, see one of those cakes, you want to create it, you can jump ahead to that lesson for that cake and learn those skills and not have to sit through the whole thing and watch it. So, but there are a whole huge amount of course materials and resource list of things that you could purchase if you want to go ahead and make those cakes. So, but you don't need anything to buy it or to watch the class. Well, and
Okay,
computer.
that's perfect. That's the way we like it. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. You just go and get it now, and then, if you can't watch it now, you can watch it later.
Right.
I have a couple of Craftsy videos that I
Mhm.
have in my inbox that I haven't watched yet, that I plan to.
Mhm. Well,
I
it's nice.
definitely
You can
plan
watch
to.
them whenever. I've actually watched a few when I've been on the treadmill because
Oh,
it's,
perfect.
you're just watching to see what you like, and then you can leave a little video note or go back and watch it when you're ready to actually do what it is they're talking about. So they make it really easy. It's
They
pretty
do.
cool.
They
Yeah.
do. That's great stuff. All right. Let's see. We have Margaret Hitchman says, "Where do you get your ideas from for new cakes?"
Everywhere. So my cell phone is full of pictures that I've taken when I'm out and about. So I was at Target last week, and they have this new line of coffee cups that I love that have these little graphic images on them. And so I was over there taking pictures of the coffee cups with my phone. So
I
everywhere.
do that all the time. I do that all the time. In fact, I had a friend, my really good friend Paula Ames, that came into town a few weeks ago, and we went out to dinner, and the restaurant where we went, the walls were, I mean, just these
Oh yeah,
geometric circular kind of patterns,
yeah,
and the way that they were, I just, wow, that would make such a cool cake. So we're sitting there taking pictures of like the walls and the ceilings and the light fixtures, and
yeah.
I'm sure everybody thought we were crazy, but
Yeah, that's exactly where it is, though. It's all around us. In fact, I was at a girlfriend's house last week, and she has this swirly pillow that was so cool. And I'm over there by the light of the window taking a picture of her pillow because I'm like, this would be perfect on a cake. So, I mean, I've taken pictures of garbage cans on the side of a street before because it had this cool geometric pattern in it. Gift bags, cards, like when you're in the Hallmark section. I mean, it's everywhere. It's
yeah.
pretty amazing. I love looking through wedding magazines and looking at dresses. That's another thing that I love to
Mhm.
see is the patterns and the way the dresses are. So yeah, it's surprising where you can find inspiration.
Yeah, it really is. And I like to create, a folder. Well, I don't know. If it's out and about, I have it on my phone. If it's on my computer, I have a folder, or else I
Yeah.
pin it on Pinterest, or so I've got this whole Pinterest box that's just inspirational
Yeah.
stuff. So, I guess, yeah,
Mhm.
it's everywhere.
It is.
Let's see. Okay, this is a good one. It's from Claudia Gonzalez. She says, "When making a cake, have you ever been at a point where everything is not going as planned? And when did this happen? And what did you do about it?"
Okay, so this has happened to me so much. Less the more I get into cake decorating, but I always have failures. In fact, my husband, bless his heart, he is so patient with me because he'll say, "It looks good, just leave it, just leave it, just keep moving forward." And I can't. I'll have to redo something, to make it right. But um, actually, just recently, in fact, some of the cakes I made for the show, for the class, for the Craftsy class, I had to cover 16 tiers of cake for that class because I had to decorate a complete set of cakes, and then I ended up shipping, a set of blank cakes. Basically, they just had fondant covering on them. And my girlfriend and I actually didn't use my normal marshmallow fondant because there were so many to cover. I was allowed to go ahead and use some store-bought stuff just to help me get through it all and not have to make 8 batches of marshmallow fondant.
Yeah.
So I we had the hardest time. I don't know what it was, if it was the humidity or what I was using to roll stuff out with, but we had to cover so many cakes 2 and 3 times before it was right for me. Um, so I guess for me though, I keep doing it. Like I'll just keep re-rolling it and I'll keep recovering it until it's right. And then there's the times though where you just have to let it go and know that depending upon who you're making it for, unfortunately, thank you, Lord, I don't make cakes for clients. Like I have had a failure where I was gonna make a cake for a friend and it was her birthday, I think. And I forget exactly what was wrong. I couldn't get the ruffles or I couldn't get something on the cake the right way. And I literally just went out and I bought her some chocolates and a card and I said, "Happy birthday." And I threw the cake away because I just I couldn't get it to work. I just was so frustrated, and she didn't know I was making her cake, so no harm done there.
No, yeah, no harm.
So
Hey, that works.
yeah, I mean, I have been there, and that's really why I started my blog, was because I had so many failures early on that I it was so frustrating for me. And once I'd find a solution to the failure, I'd want to share it because I want people to not have to go through the same failures and spend the kind of money and time that I spent learning, because I'm totally self-taught. So there's a lot of failures there.
Yeah, well, everybody has to learn,
It is.
and so one of the best ways to learn is through your failures.
It is.
It sounds terrible and maybe even cliche, but it's true. It is the truth.
It is.
We
Yeah.
we learn from our mistakes.
We do a lot more than we learn from our successes sometimes.
Yeah, that's very, very true.